So this is week 5-2, part 2. And in it, we're going to talk about parcels, some of the features that you can find about individual parcels, some of the data you can get from it, and then come in and we're also going to look in how we can take a larger parcel and break it down into like individual lots. So if you go ahead and select a parcel and right click on it, what you're going to get are properties. Now I want to stress something here. When I'm talking about clicking on a parcel and then right clicking, I'm not talking about the border. I'm actually talking about the label. That's what it considers the parcel, is the label. And so if you click on that and right click, you can find different information. The style that you have, the type of property, and if you come into analysis, it'll actually give you all the points and the bearings of each of the lines and segments in your property. You can also come in and put in user-defined properties such as parcel number, address, things like that, parcel tax ID. So you can keep all this information in there and then pull this out later when you want to use it for city design purposes, etc. So when you create parcels, occasionally it does not number the parcels the way you like it. And so when that happens, you can go over and you can edit it to fit your style better. So like in this case, we actually have 4 big blocks, and let's say we want to have each of these as a phase. And so we're going to develop phase 1 first, then phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. But they're not numbered the way we want it. We can come in and renumber those different parcels. As a matter of fact, we can rename them as well. So if you actually select one of the parcels, what you'll notice is your ribbon is going to change into a ribbon specifically for parcels. That's called a contextual ribbon. And if you look, about midway through the selections is renumber and rename. And if you click on it, what it'll do is it'll come up and it'll ask you the site that you want to renumber, rename. Then it's going to ask for your starting number, and then it's going to ask for the increment that you want to use to renumber, rename. Now it's like, okay, well, why are you doing that? Well, if you remember, the left side of a road and the right side of a road are even and odd, and so you may want to actually increment every 2 from a value as opposed to 1. The other thing is your starting number. Where do you want that to be set up? Is it the 400th block? You can set it up like that. It's kind of up to you on how you set these things up. The one thing that's interesting though is whatever number you set, if you go back into this command again, it will have gone through all of your properties that you had renumber, and the starting number will be the next possible number out of that list. So if you want to start back at 1, you have to reset this to 1. The way that you end up doing this is you'll come in and you'll go ahead and you'll take your property, and once you input this number and hit OK, it's actually going to ask you to draw a line. How the line proceeds through the parcels is how it's going to rename. So if your line starts to the east and then goes to the west, then the numbers will go from the east to the west in whatever increment you pick. You can also draw other lines in different areas. So if you hit enter once, after you've drawn a perspective line, it'll allow you to draw another line to select other parcels to renumber. If you actually want them all to renumber, you're going to have to hit enter twice, and that will renumber all the numbers and get you out of the command. So you can create additional parcels, you can delete old parcels, and all this by using parcel creation tools as well. So this is how we can actually create smaller subdivided individual properties. And the cool thing about this is we can actually use the program as a way to break out these individual parcels. Let me show you how it works. So if you come in and you start your parcel creation tools, it's going to give you a series of tools to help define your parcel. You can actually add lines, so you could create a parcel from scratch in here, and then they have a bunch of other tools, and we're not going to be able to work with all of them in this example. But The one we're going to work on first is what's called the slide line, and it's this icon right here up in the top right. It's called slide line create. And what that's going to do is that will subdivide out a block basically into individual lots based on the parameters that you give it. Well, the parameters, if you open up the dialog box, are right down here, and you have things like minimum area, minimum frontage, frontage offset, minimum width, minimum depth. This information is how it's going to calculate those smaller lots. You have to fill out this information based on whatever city or municipality that you're working in. And then if they have a specific zone in there, you will find the information for that. You can plug that in, and it will subdivide out the lots based on that. Once you have filled out that information, you can come in and create those subdivided lots. Let's say you want to get rid of a certain parcel, or maybe you want to combine a parcel with something else, or get rid of a line. You can also do that by deleting out segments. And so one of the other buttons is just to the right, and it's delete out segments. And if you click on it, what it'll do is it will allow you to pick a line to get rid of in a certain parcel. Now this is really useful when you want to completely get rid of a parcel, because just selecting the edge and hitting delete doesn't necessarily get it done. What this will do is allow you to select that segment, delete it, and once it's an open line, it's no longer a parcel, and you can just use regular erase tools to get rid of the other lines. So that's just another one that you can use in your design. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to break this down. We're going to make subdivided lots based on the parcel create layout tools. And so we're going to use the slide line. We're going to go ahead and fill out the information. And in the next video, we're actually going to break down our blocks into individual properties for single families.